Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I know what you're thinking. Ginge, God, you're up early this morning. Well, the reason I'm up early this morning is because the lovely lady Jane, she have to be at the port very early this morning. She's on an all-day trip to the shipwreck, and she's the lady with the paperwork, all right? All the forms that have to be filled in by people going on board the tour ship going up to the north of the island. I'm not sure how many people they've got today or how many coach loads of people they've got today, but Jane's up at 6:30 in the morning, and so I have to get up. So that's the reason why I'm up early this morning. And again, today it's D-Day. It means that the UK now, supposed Freedom Day, but we'll be looking at that in a little bit of detail during the news. It's my one day before I'm due to move everything into Magdalena's, ready to kick off tomorrow night, DJing at Magdalena's. Still no word at the moment with live entertainment. That's just on hold at the moment. Let me get back in, see how things go, and see what transpires. But anyway, this morning, as you can see, it's absolutely glorious. I'm sat under the trestle because the sun has not yet moved to the position where you can't sit under here because it gets too hot. And at the moment, can I just thank the lovely Amanda? She sent me a little message last night. She says, "Morning, Ginge. Weather today, Monday, plenty of sunshine. Temperature 30 degrees, but it's going to feel more like 33. Have a great day." Once again, there's still fire warnings in place as well. People to be careful regards what's happening there with your fires, etc., your barbecues. But other than that, very much the same as yesterday. I know you've been having some fantastic weather in the UK as well. And a quick shout out to Maria Hadelberg over there in Sweden. You're one of the few listeners up this early this morning, Marie. I don't know what the weather's like in Sweden at the moment, but yeah, nice to see you. And also Gemma Jordan Harrison is also tuning in as well. Nice to have you looking in. Right, let's have a look at the arrivals for today. Let's see who's actually arriving here on Zakynthos. Today, as I said, a very important day because guess what? It is the 19th. It's Freedom Day for the UK. First of all, let's look at who's coming, and I'll also be looking at the flights in detail that are arriving today from the UK. First of all, we've got a flight from Bratislava in. We've got 2 flights from Athens. We've got 2 flights from Israel, 2 flights from Amsterdam. We've got 9 flights from various locations in Italy. We also have 2 flights in from Denmark, and we have 3 flights in from the UK. First flight in today is at 12:05, and that's a Ryanair. That's coming in from Stansted Airport in the UK, in London. Then the next flight is the one that everybody is quite excited about. I know the people working for the company are very excited because it means, hey, we are back to work now. Jet2 from Manchester at 1:10. That flies in today. Only one flight from Jet2 today. That Manchester flight at 13:10. I had people giving me calls yesterday asking what's going on with Jet2. We've not heard nothing about Jet2. Well, Jet2, they're back to work today. EasyJet London Luton, that's in at 13:25. So there you go. 3 flights in from the UK on supposedly the first day of freedom. Right, let's have a quick look at the infection rates across Greece, just to see where we stand in that area. At the moment, to be honest, the infection rates are starting to drop, which is good news. You remember the other day I said to you 2,562 new cases across the country. Well, that's down. New infections for yesterday, 1,558. So that is down. There were 11 new cases detected in entries into the country. That's slightly up on the day before, where we had 8. Now, I'm going to start including Mykonos in my stats now of locations for COVID infection, just because I just want to keep an eye on how Mykonos is doing with their infection rate. You've got to remember that Mykonos at the moment are under extraordinary rules, and the problem was in the past, whatever happened in Mykonos seemed to come and haunt us here on Zakynthos. So at the moment, Mykonos is reporting 39 new infections infections for yesterday. Cases in Lefkada in the Ionian, only one case. Cases in Corfu, 13 cases. In the prefecture of Kefalonia, there's been no new cases reported, which is really, really good news. However, here on Zakynthos, unfortunately, there has been 11 new cases reported here on Zakynthos within the last 24 hours. That brings our tally to the month of July up to 63 new cases for the month of July, which is not looking good for us, to be quite honest. When it comes to deaths across the country, again in Greece, they've just risen up slightly. I did report to you on Sunday that there were 7. Today, it's been reported there's been 10 new deaths across the country. That brings the death toll now to 12,850 since the pandemic started. Again, 96.4% of them had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. And once again, our condolences to the families that are affected there. When it comes to critical cases have dropped ever so slightly. Yesterday I reported to you 124. Well, it's now down to 123, so at least it's starting to move downwards. That's 74 male and 49 female. Again, the average age of people in critical condition, 67 years of age. 83.5% of them have underlying health conditions or are over the ages of 70. And once again, I hope those people actually get well and are out of the ICUs and don't pass away, which again, that's one of the things that we're not hearing about, is how many people who do go into the ICUs actually leave and get better. Anyway, today's news then. Well, England recorded the 3rd worst daily infection rate in the world yesterday as it prepared for Freedom Day. And obviously the supposed lifting of COVID restrictions. Now, many scientists have voiced their concerns regarding the more infectious Delta variant, which has become dominant in Britain and has changed the epidemiology situation in the country since the government's roadmap was laid out earlier in the year. Now, that's the news that's been reported about what's going on in the UK, in Greece. Also reported, and I've taken this as a direct translation from the local news here as to how they're looking at Freedom Day for Britain, because obviously this is a big market that Greece want to see back, obviously within the fold, as it were, because obviously we need the Brits. Anyway, this is how they've worded their reports on what's going on regards Freedom Day. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, is concerned about the lifting of the restrictive measures against COVID disease scheduled for Monday, with the British looking forward to Freedom Day. Johnson may freeze the lifting of restrictive measures against the coronavirus as the situation is extremely worrying. And this was according to the British newspaper, the Daily Mail, citing credible sources. Now, according to a government source, according to the article in question, Boris's plan was to declare victory over the coronavirus by using Churchillian rhetoric. Anyway, that no longer seems to be appropriate. Anyway, despite the easing of restrictive measures in Britain, official guidelines continue to advise citizens to wear masks indoors, such as in shops, public transport, while pubs and bars you will only be allowed to sit. Sounds a bit like here, to be quite honest. Anyway, the former British Health Minister Jeremy Hunt called the situation very serious and left open the possibility of a new lockdown in autumn. On Friday, the article said the United Kingdom recorded more than 50,000 daily COVID cases, the highest number since mid-January. According to expert estimates, the number is expected to soon reach 68,000. Saturday, this number of daily cases rose to 54,674, with 740 patients with COVID taken to hospitals, while the death toll reached 41. The article also said at the same time vaccination rates in Britain are slowing. 67,956 people received their first dose of the vaccine on Friday, and 188,976 the second daily the second, daily vaccination rates are now much lower than in previous days in the UK. Now, since the start of the old-fashioned vaccination programme, the total number of people who have been fully vaccinated with both doses of COVID vaccine in the UK had reached 35.7 million, almost 68% of adults. Jeremy Hunt, chairman of the House of Commons Health and Social Welfare Committee, said that if cases continue to rise, I think we should consider the situation and impose a lockdown in September. Oh, God. Professor John Edmonds, a member of the, I like this, a member of the Committee of Wise Men, I wonder if there's three of them, of the government SAGE scientific group, believes the current pandemic wave will be long enough. Meanwhile, the news that the current British Minister of Health, Sajid Javid, fell ill with coronavirus, although mildly, while he had given both doses of the vaccine, had caused great concern to Downing Street. Yeah, and there was also a lot of hypocrisy going on within Downing Street, where Javid had to start following the rules of everybody else, and rather one rule for me and one rule for you because I'm more important. Anyway, the British newspaper said his symptoms are mild, but there is concern about those who came into contact with him, including ministers and senior civil servants. Look, the country's already grinding to a halt. Doesn't matter whether they social distance or not. Anyway, at the same time, schools, hospitals, transport services, factories are underperforming due to staff shortages, due to the operation of the National Health System, which informs citizens who have been in close contact with a positive case to be placed in home restrictions. And that's basically this track and trace thing that pings. And they're talking about, what's the word they're using now? A pingdemic now, where you could be sat 100 meters away from somebody, but because you happen to be just in the same distance, you can end up getting quarantined, even though you've never met the person, being close to the person, even spoken to the person, because you're within a certain distance of how far they are. The system is obviously not working very well, shall we say. So there you go. That's a way that the Greek press is reporting what's going on in the UK. It's always interesting to see their take on things. But at the end of the day, they are still wanting the British to arrive because we are the second largest economic group to Germany that are putting, sounds like the EU again, doesn't it? Who are putting money in the till in regards to keeping businesses open and alive. Anyway, going back to Zakynthos then, seems a strong police presence were deployed on Saturday night in Laganas with the aim of fighting and eradicating drugs. Anyway, one day after the visit of the Minister of the Civil Protection, Michalis Kyriadis, to Zakynthos, and a statement that in the next period of operations will be carried out by the police authorities and other services that will come to the island. So there is absolute order and calm. Anyway, a team of the Attica Drug Protection and one from the Ellis Extortion group, they also arrived on the island as well. And from the first moment that they set foot on the island, the two teams started to bring together their actions and mainly targeting people who had previous convictions. And there were some also surprise checks were carried out on homes as well. Now, on Saturday night, the teams were found again in Laganas and they carried out dozens of checks in shops and also in and around the area of the main strip. And according to information from the police directorate, small quantities of drugs were found from the operations so far. So at the moment, it sounds like there is still a very strong police presence in the strip. Don't forget, they do plan to close part of the strip later this week from Big Boys down to the sea to stop traffic moving up and down there, which is something that people have been asking for a control of traffic on that strip for years. Everybody's wondered. There was talk years ago about putting barriers up to basically stop the traffic going down. But again, that never came to anything. If you look behind the main strip of Laganas, you'll notice that there is a road that runs behind it. Now, that road was built basically to be the feeder road for like coaches and vehicles that were trying to get to certain hotels. So they didn't have to drive down the strip, turn right to go up to Agia Sostis in that direction. They built another road on the other side. But again, that's never been used. And again, that was another plan that was half done and half measured and never really followed through. So it's going to be interesting to see how that is going to play out with this enforced policing that is going on in Lagana, and also whether we're going to see any of this enforced policing going on in the other resorts around the island, again, in keeping the sort of like things going, as in the measures for the anti-spread of COVID virus. Anyway, going back to Mykonos then, the 5-hour nightly curfew around the clock ban on music in cafes and restaurants is still being imposed on the island due to the spike in the coronavirus. The government announced on Saturday the curfew now is from 1 a.m. till 6 a.m. with a ban on music, and that took effect, if you remember, as I reported on Saturday. Now, this is going to last until the 26th of July, but the measures could be extended if the coronavirus has not dropped significantly, the Minister of Civil Protection, Nikos Hadlias, said. Also, property owners who rent their properties for parties. Now, this is a good bit of news as far as the club owners are concerned. They have been told now you're not allowed to have any more than 20 guests in a villa. And if you're caught having a party in a villa with more than 20 guests, guess what? You're looking at a 50,000 to a 200,000 euro fine if you are caught with that amount of people inside your location. So there you go. You have been warned, all right? So be very, very careful. Those people that are basically running those parties over there, which is really getting on the tits, shall we say, of the people trying to run nightclubs and legitimate businesses where people are not allowed to stand and not allowed to move around. And now they're not even allowed sodding music. It's absolutely crazy. Right. OK. Another little story again from Mykonos, which is of interest, is about a poor little 18-year-old lad who basically was on holiday in Mykonos. He tested positive for coronavirus, and the unfortunate young man who went to Mykonos to enjoy a carefree holiday summer vacation, he was Italian, by the way, was found that he couldn't get anywhere because all the coronavirus hotels were completely full. So anyway, it seems that an appeal was put out to try and get this lad accommodated somewhere, because he obviously had to go somewhere. A ring round the hotels. None of the hotels obviously wanted him because they didn't want somebody with coronavirus going and staying in their hotel, because they didn't want to put their people at risk in their hotel. So in the end, he wasn't allowed to stay in the hospital because he basically wasn't sick enough to stay in the hospital. And basically they got onto the local media in Mykonos, and on one of the local media sites, there's a poor little 18-year-old lad here. He was actually crying. He was crying and phoning his mother, saying that he was now homeless, had nowhere to stay. I don't think he'd be allowed to kip on the beach. And basically, could anybody come to some assistance to try and help him? Well, basically, to cut a long story short, they did manage to get a quarantine hotel to find somewhere to put him in. I was quite shocked that I don't know how many quarantine hotels they have on the island of Mykonos. We only have one here. Mykonos, I don't know, they're a smaller island than us in size, whether they have more than one because of what goes on there. But anyway, they managed to find a room for him. However, it seems that there's a different side to the story, which the press were talking about, and that was the fact that the young man didn't want to go to a quarantine hotel. He basically phoned his parents because basically he didn't want to go there. He wasn't able to stay anywhere else. that what part of it was true. But in the end, after them speaking to his mother, then speaking to the boy, he was then convinced that no, you will have to go and stay in the quarantine hotel that has been found for you. So that brought back a little bit of a memories of the Zante 5 at the moment, where one story from them and then the other story from the authorities. But once again, just to remind those people here coming to Zakynthos, if you test positive on arrival, you will go down to the Kerry Spa and Resort. And if you test positive on leaving at the end of your holiday, guess what? You've got another 14 days at the Kerry Spa and Resort, which is an all expenses paid holiday by the Greek government, which you certainly wouldn't get that in the UK if you tested positive arriving at Gatwick. You'd be in a travel lodge on the outskirts of there somewhere or wherever you arrive, and you'll be paying 1,900 quid for the privilege of staying there as well. Right. Just another thing, another little interesting story here that's occurred on Zakynthos by the looks of it. When you're checking your change, please be very careful that the €2 coin that you are given is in fact a €2 coin, and it is not a Malawi 5 thingy coin of their currency. It seems at the moment 13 customers so far here on the island have reported the fact that they've been given counterfeit currency, which is basically worthless, by shopkeepers here on the island. This was happening over the weekend. So please, people are being asked to be very careful. Please check your change. I'm actually going to show you what these coins look like, actually. Not that I've got any, but there are pictures that have been posted. There you go. That is a Malawi Kecha, I think is how you pronounce that. That's what the coin looks like. Does look quite similar, I would say, more to, maybe because of the size of it, it does look similar to a euro coin, but it does clearly say Malawi on it. And as far as I'm aware, Malawi is not in the European Union. So please just check your coinage. Make sure that you do get the right change when you do a transaction. And whoever is from Malawi spreading these coins about, you better keep your head down, mate. There's a lot of very angry people after you at the moment as well. And also, and finally, a nice little bit of happy good news. It has finally arrived. Yeah, the Blue Panda now is docked here in Zakynthos, and it's going to be here until the 25th of July. And the great thing is the Blue Panda is here. Basically, it's on a sailing trip which started in Italy. It's sailing right away across the Mediterranean until November, where it's basically visiting important areas of protection in the Mediterranean. And of course, the National Marine Park here in Zakynthos is one of the most important locations for animal welfare in regards to the turtles, and also to the monk seal as well that we have here, which a lot of people don't see the monk seals because they're way off. But again, the National Marine Park is involved in the protection of them. So the Blue Panda here is here to basically as part of a awareness campaign that they're running, and a lot of that is to do with plastics in the ocean and in the sea. And you can actually go on board the vessel, or not on board the vessel, but down in the old port down in Zakynthos town, where the old Porter restaurant is. They've got an information centre set up there, and they are there most evenings. All right, they're not there every evening, they're there most evenings, and you can go along, get information, and they have little talks, etc. Again, about what their work they're doing and about how they're, saving the environment. Also be aware that tonight, they won't be doing that tonight, but tonight they will be doing an online concert. Yes, they're going to be doing an online concert from on board their boat, which is interesting considering that we've got this live music ban at the moment, but I'm not going to knock that, all right? But they're doing an online concert tonight, which is kicking off round about 7:30. You can find it on YouTube, on the WWF Helenis YouTube channel. Just go and have a look at it. It sounds like wrestling, didn't it? WWF, WWF Helenis YouTube channel. And that's kicking kicking off around about 7:30 this evening. They're doing a concert from actually on board the Blue Panda itself, with the background of the sea behind it. And that's the reason why they won't be in the port this evening, because of all the restrictions, etc., etc. But you can watch the concert online. But any other time up until the 27th, when they actually go from, what is it? I'm just reminded the time. Yeah, from 7 o'clock in the evening until 9:30 at night, they have an information stand there where you can obviously go and listen to them, give you information, talks and things. Plus also as well, if you want to donate anything as well, because they'll obviously be there for the money as well, and obviously donate some money towards the World Wildlife Fund, which was, the patron was your man, the Duke of Edinburgh, if I remember rightly as well. Right, so there you go. That's the news for today. And as you have probably guessed, the sun has moved round. It's now directly in my eyes, and it's a little bit difficult just to read your comments. So I'm just going to go to a little bit of shade, and there we go. That's better. I can now see the comments now. Amanda Gregory says, a little overcast here in Laganas and Alicez this morning. I've got to be, honest. Yesterday, it felt like it was going to rain at certain points in the day. And if I just quickly switch my camera around, you can obviously see we've got quite a bit of cloud, but the nice thing about the cloud is that it does cool things down a bit. So again, yesterday we had some very, very dark clouds, and it just looked like we were going to get a little spot of rain. Not that I wouldn't miss a little bit of rain, to be honest, because it's good for the trees, the grapes and everything else, and the olives. And also, we've also got figs here now at the moment, which have started to mature as well. Caroline Davis is also tuning in. She says, good morning. I've lost your message now, my darling. It's disappeared away. Yes, she says, good morning. Hope to be in Planet next Tuesday, the 27th. And we hope we see you and you pop down and see us down at Magdalena's. Don't forget, I am back in there tomorrow night DJing. And we will see how it all goes. Also, as well, Maria Hadelberg is watching. Gemma Jordan Harrison is watching. Dave Matthews is up early over there in the UK. He says, good morning. He says, I'm off fishing. Good luck there, Dave. Also, as well, who else is there? Let's have a look. Maria says at the moment in Sweden it is lovely and sunny. She says, have a lovely day. I will do, my darling, and you have a great time as well. And Dave, good luck with the fishing, mate. Right, that's it from me. Martin Pooler Hazel is watching as well. Nice to have you looking in as well, fella. Right, and also Shane Bowen is watching as well. I've just seen your little picture up in the corner, mate. Once again, just to remind you, thank you to all those people who tuned in yesterday to the Northern Soul Show on beatsradio.co.uk. That show's going to be repeated again today on Beats Radio. I've also yesterday made my shows for next week. I made both shows in one day, which trust me, that's quite a feat to do that. So I'm now ahead of the game. So I'll be ripping out Studio One, ready to transport it and move it into Magdalena's. And I know that means my season has definitely started. So once again, just to remind you, don't forget Magdalena's is open for breakfast in the mornings, and I'm not sure what time he stops food at, probably around about 6 o'clock in the evening. But anyway, you can get food during the day with a lovely Dionys. Go and have a breakfast. I'm probably going to shoot over there in the next few minutes, just have a cup of tea and a chat, and obviously confirm everything ready for the move in tomorrow, ready for tomorrow night, and live music coming from Magdalena's. I'll probably do it as a broadcast tomorrow as well. I will just stream live from Magdalena's tomorrow evening, so you can come and join us. We'll just get things started nice and gently, and then obviously you can still tune in, request tunes and that wherever you are in the world, and we'll just see how busy we get online tomorrow. Anyway, that's it from me. You take care, have a great day, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.